Welcoming everybody to the Laying It Down podcast, where we talk about everything wrestling. Tonight, we have the one and only TikTok content creator by the name of Know Your Wrestling. Welcome in, my friend.
Yo, what's good? It's so excited to be here on Just Laying Down podcast. I know the Big John, shout out to Big John, by the way, for all the spears and the RKOs and all the good stuff, man. Don't worry, you jabroni. You'll get yours back, man.
You got a little taste of what it feels like to be in here with all of the trolls that happen in this chat, but it's such a fun time always being here with them, and they make it so entertaining.
Absolutely, man. Really, before we start, I want to just give you your flowers, bro. First of all, I don't do a lot of podcasts, so to be here and just kind of give a backstory on how I met Mr. Just Laying Down. One day, I come across TikTok, I see him, I'm like, yo, this guy almost looks like me. You know what I'm saying? I'm probably the handsome version of him, actually. And I thought to myself, like, this dude's pretty cool. So I sat here and I'm watching him and I love the vibe. I didn't think this would actually happen where we're one-on-one on a podcast like this. He did beat me earlier, by the way, on our first TikTok battle, but it was definitely cheating, okay? It was definitely cheating. But no, man, I love your energy. I love seeing your community as well. I didn't really see a community at this level. So shout out to you, what you're doing, and it's just an honor to be here. Yeah.
Absolutely. Wait. I got the yeah for you. We got all the sounds here for you. We come prepared. And also,
look, Wrestling Today podcast is in the chat, by the way. So why is he here? Can we ban him or something? Like, why is he here?
Damn.
And we got to get rid of this guy or something.
And there's like 2 or 3 mods in here. I swear to God, Luke, if you do anything. And Luke and everybody that's coming already, thank you for the questions. We're going to get to them very, very shortly.
Yes. So for
Mr. Know Your Wrestling, first of all, thank you for being here. Like, I have a ton of list of so many content creators that I've gotten to know over the past year and a half or so. You're definitely one of them, so I'm very grateful that you're able to take the time to be here, hang out with us. For everybody that's in chat, this is going to be on YouTube, Spotify, maybe in the next few days, maybe the weekend. So you'll see the edited version if you miss out on any of the content. But for you, my friend, what I usually ask of our guests as the first question is to introduce yourself to the chat. What do you do? Where are you from? What kind of content do you push out? And where also they can find you. So we'll get that started with that. And then afterwards, we'll start asking some questions from the chat. And then I'll even ask some of my own.
Absolutely, no problem. Guys, my name is Mr. Know Your Wrestling. I would say the #1 streamer on all of TikTok. Don't listen to Wrestling Today podcast is in the chat, all right? I'm definitely the #1. I've been doing this for 8 months. Out of this, though, I am a business coach and consultant. I'm also a host and speaker. But I love wrestling, and I said it earlier if you guys were on the live, but I always say it's like coming out of the wrestling closet. I didn't really tell friends that I watch wrestling. My family probably didn't know I watch wrestling. The world didn't know I watch wrestling. So about 6-7 months ago, I decided to start my own wrestling channel, and it's been great ever since. I met dope people like Wrestling Today podcast that you see in the chat. People like Just Laying Down that has been very, I would say, kind, right? That like there's no animosity. We just love wrestling. We love to kind of do this together. So that's a little bit about me, man. I'm wrestling during the times that I'm not doing anything entrepreneurial.
Hell yeah. And I feel like I got to know a bit more about you even just from today when we did our TikTok live stream. I didn't even know you were live. So when you sent the request to join, I was scrambling for a sec because I had music blasting and I was in the middle of talking with chat. I'm like, oh snap, we gotta bring you on. We gotta do this pre-show real quick before we actually get into the Twitch stream later tonight. So it was nice getting to chat with you. I really appreciated that you wanted to interview me during that time, especially while I'm in the middle of working. So I'm very grateful for that. But very pleasurable to meet you, full on introduction. And for chat again,
Absolutely.
Exclamation point guest in the chat if you want to go ahead and follow him. Are you live on TikTok still, or you got off?
No, I got off TikTok. I was just doing a little promo, getting people to come on.
Got it. And thank you for that, by the way. A bunch of people came in from that. People coming in from the Know Your Wrestling stream. So definitely appreciate it. Just for getting them to know who we are, and just not even just me, but us, just doing things together. So we're gonna get into some of the questions that are coming in from the chat. There's no guarantee, chat, that I'll be able to get to every single question that does come in because I do want to mix in my own. but I do like to highly encourage people, if they want to ask him something, go right ahead. Totally fine. So one of the first questions comes from Sullen, and it is, do you acknowledge JLD?
Acknowledge JLD.
Let's go.
Acknowledge.
That is the correct answer. We can continue the interview now. And then we'll get into the next question. Young Grasshopper Luke, he was actually in episode 2, so he actually was on a previous episode of the podcast. It was really fun chatting with him as well. His question is there a wrestler that you met in real life that was a jerk to you?
I've met probably a handful of wrestlers. No one that I ever felt was a jerk to me. Everyone acknowledged me. They were very kind. I met a couple of wrestlers. I was kind of just, because someone's going to ask who did I meet. Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper, Bo Dallas, Kurt Angle, and I think I may have met one other person. I just can't remember off the top of my head, but for sure I do know Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper, because I'm in Orlando. So when we were during the Thunderdome era, it was kind of easy to see them because they were kind of all over Orlando. And I would say, man, Bray Wyatt, rest in peace, but pretty cool guy, man, was definitely willing to have the conversation, talk to you, take some time away. I seen him twice at the gym, and at that point, I thought we were friends. The first time I let it slide, like, I'm not going to bother you working out. The second time I seen him, I'm like, oh, no, we're friends. I got to take a picture. So I was actually able to take a picture and, get to chop it up a little bit with him. So it's pretty cool.
Hell yeah. And how close are you from the Thunderdome? Because I know that's like where the Performance Center is, right?
So the Performance Center and the arena are probably good 25 to 30 minutes away from each other.
Okay.
But I'm still close to either of them, to be honest with you. I'm pretty close.
Oh yeah. And I remember from our chat earlier today, you are originally from Boston, right? Like you were born and raised there before coming down to Orlando.
Yep. Originally from Boston. However, I've been a Floridian forever and a day because I just turned 34 years old, and I moved to Orlando at the age of 7. So,
okay.
Am I from Boston? Yes. However, I probably rep Orlando more than anything.
Got it. I haven't been to Orlando in years, but I'm a big Miami fan. So, like, whenever I go to Florida, it's usually to go to the South Beach, Miami. That's a
fun spot right there. That's a fun spot.
Nice and hot, beaches there, and Cuban food. You already know Cubano food is amazing.
Cuban food for sure.
Now we got another question from Cam Combos, another one of my mods. Who is your favorite wrestler? If you had to pick one. If you have multiple, you're more than welcome to choose multiple, but if you could pick one, which one would it be?
I'm going to give you both. I'm going to give you current, and I'm going to give you of all time. So my current, I can't just do one. It's got to be Roman Reigns and Gunther. I got to put Gunther up there, man. That dude's been doing phenomenal wrestling as of late. And my all-time has to be Mankind. To me, the most underrated wrestler, man. The dude was the Attitude Era, right? When you think about what Attitude Era was, Mankind was that. So Mankind, my all-time favorite.
Mankind definitely sacrificed his body the most throughout the 90s and the 2000s to entertain all of us. And I give him huge respect for that. I know, like, a lot of times when people think of Attitude Era, it's like Stone Cold, The Rock, DX, but Mankind definitely has to, like, be up there with them because of his dedication to the business. Because if there wasn't any Mankind, there would be no Undertaker throwing him off the Hell in a Cell. There wouldn't be Dude Love, Cactus Jack. There wouldn't be a lot of that stuff without Mick Foley. And it sucks that, like, he couldn't, like, go back and do like a birthday match. I think he was trying to do like a retirement match, but he had like a concussion, so hopefully he recovers from that. But that's a good choice. That's definitely a good choice. And then for Gunther, I've only known who Gunther was only recently, and he's phenomenal, man. From his like journey from NXT UK, even from Progress to now, that man deserves all the credit that he had for the 666 days that he was Intercontinental title. I don't care if you thought Sami Zayn was good, like a good person to beat the title from him, but well-deserved title reign from a guy who really like kicked ass.
To me, he's also the person that takes the title off of Cody Rhodes.
I like that. I would love to see a Gunther world title run just because of that.
What I think about Gunther's title run as well is that it has to be phenomenal. You think about how long he held that NXT UK title. I can't remember how long he held the NXT title, but I do know that he had a long run with the Intercontinental title. So it looks like in his history for WWE, has a very long title run. So I definitely see that maybe a year at least if Gunther was to win the title. Now with storytelling, is it going to happen? Not sure, but man, Gunther is solid, man. Tell me a match that Gunther had that was not a good match. There's not really many of them. So yeah.
Just off the chops phenomenal. Alone, bro. The chops alone will destroy you to the point where you think it's a good match. And even the WrestleMania match was great, where even though Gunther lost, like when Michael Cole was yelling out, "Do you believe in miracles?" when Sami Zayn did that final haluva kick, this is gonna be a memorable moment. I don't like even if Gunther loses, he's going down as one of the greats, one of the longest reigning IC champions. So definitely a great choice.
He didn't lose anything. He didn't lose anything losing that match.
Do you think Bash of Berlin's going to be Gunther versus Cody, or maybe even Priest?
Gunther versus Cody, if I had to choose one. I don't think Priest. I think Priest would already have... When is Bash of Berlin? I don't remember, but I think that the person that's going to take the title off of Damian Priest is definitely going to be Drew McIntyre. Has to be.
Clash at the Castle. It definitely has to. Yep. It definitely has to be. I could see so many freaking worldwide events now that I get them so freaking confused. Bash of Berlin, I could see everybody booing Cody and going and cheering Gunther if that match were to happen in Berlin. And I will be all for it. I will be the one cheering for Gunther, hoping those chops really hurt Cody's chest.
You're not a Cody fan? Is that what's going on here? Just laying down?
So I'm a huge Roman fan, as I'm sure everybody here has gotten, my whole persona here on Twitch. But I'm also happy for Cody that he won the title, because it was a very emotional match. It was a very feel-good story. And he is probably one of the most kind, genuine people that I've seen in the wrestling industry today. This man is going to a random guy's bachelor party. This guy gives the belt off of his waist to whichever kid is in the aisle, as he's going down the ring. Takes pictures with people. He took pictures with us, me and Mrs. JLD, and I will always remember that. He's just a good guy overall.
Okay. But making sure you know one's in the Cody, hater or anything like that. We have a lot of Cody haters going around, the TikTok world. So I want to make sure you're not one of those people.
So I will always pick Roman over Cody, but I do have the logic of Cody does so much. That's the thing about me. I acknowledge my tribal chief, but Cody's also good.
I love Roman, as you mentioned, as we said earlier. I love Roman, but it was time for Cody to finish the story. It's hard if you ask me, Roman or Cody. I can't tell you which. I have respect for Cody on what he was able to do. Leave WWE, make a name for himself, create a whole new wrestling business, and then leave it, and then come back and become champion. I think it just speaks volume on who he is as a character, and really that. We talk about that know your worth moment where he really understood what his worth is. He had to go prove it to come back. Shout out to Cody Rhodes for that.
And that just goes to show you, and I was just telling Mrs. JLD this saying, it's that a loss doesn't mean failure. Just because Cody got released from WWE doesn't mean he's a failure. He went to Ring of Honor. He went to the Indies, Impact, AAA, and then finally with the Young Bucks was able to make a show called All In, which was the birth of what we now know as AEW, literally made WWE's competition, left it, and went back and won the title. If there's anybody that has a great story in terms of their wrestling career, it is Cody.
Absolutely.
And Cam Combos is right. He was kind of hated in AEW after a while. He was liked in the beginning, but I feel like his run over there, starting with the TNT title, kind of just phased him out a little bit. So he just went back, I guess.
I think it's because they wanted him to go heel, and he did not want to go heel.
It went against his not his morals, but what his character stood for, I guess.
What else questions we got here, man? What else questions?
So I'm gonna go into one of mine. I think you answered this mostly because you did mention the wrestling closet. So for everybody that's in the chat, what got you into wrestling, and when did you start watching it?
Good question. So I was 5 years old, man, watching wrestling, and I remember somebody actually asked me that earlier on my live. What got me? What was that match? What was that moment? And I can't tell you a match or a moment, but I'm 5 years old in the middle of an Attitude Era in '95. And I had older brothers. I come from a big family, and my older brothers used to watch wrestling. at a time that the world was watching wrestling. So I was just kind of forced to watch it. But when you have characters such as The Undertaker, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Kane, X-Pac, like what was there not to fall in love with, right? Like these are some of the best damn wrestlers I would say we've ever had. Of course, we have a new generation of wrestlers, and ever since then, I just really fell in love with it. There was only one time in my life that I stopped watching, and it was because I'm 18 years old now. I'm moving out of my mom's house, and I'm figuring out life. So maybe 2-3 years during that CM Punk era, which is Chris in the chat that says he's a Cody hater. That's why he's like, yo, that's why you don't like CM Punk, because you never got to watch him. Maybe that's why, but I just don't like CM Punk, you know? So I love watching wrestling. It's a form of entertainment that allows the escape from reality. I think that's what I love wrestling so much. I love the characters. I love the entertainment aspect of it. I've always loved entertainment, and to know that people get to go out there and put on a show as well as be some top athletes, that really intrigues me and just keeps me watching on a weekly. I'm like, when I say I watch, I was a point before I even started doing my own thing that I would watch wrestling. I would then go right after wrestling and read people's reviews and what the recap was of the show. And then the next day I will watch ups and downs on What Culture Wrestling. And it was just, I was consuming a lot of wrestling, man. And you know, I love wrestling, man. I love it. Now I'm doing this. It's great.
Them and What Culture and WrestleLamia are my favorite YouTube channels for all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, pretty good as well. When I say faithfully, every month after every Raw and SmackDown, I'm watching Simon Miller do the ups and downs. It's like, and really mostly the ups and downs by Simon Miller. What a character that man is, man. So
they're all freaking great.
I don't watch too many WWE YouTube channels, believe it or not, just because I don't want to get in my head too much.
Yeah, you don't want to analyze it too much. You just want to just enjoy it for the most part.
That's it.
Not get too much into the analytics and like the what happened and try to overthink who's coming back and all that, because that's what it seems like a lot of days now. Is there'll be one little rumor and then there's posters blasted everywhere. MJF's coming to WWE at WrestleMania. MJF's returning to AEW at Dynasty or Forbidden Door. Like they'll take one little rumor that was probably just two unrelated people talking and then just run with it. Like Becky Lynch. 100%. Becky Lynch, they said she's gonna take some time off, but then she retweeted it. She retweeted the status so that she's going to be in the European tour. And she was like, catch me in Europe. I thought they said I was taking time off. Just goes to show. Can you really trust a lot of these sources, even if they're reputable? It has to come from the horse's mouth. When it comes to any wrestling news, and my community knows, first of all, I don't talk about any negative wrestling news. And I don't really like to talk about speculations, because to me, I just want to watch it and just be shocked when it happens. And a lot of it right now is what's happened with the bloodline and this person signing. I'm like, listen, if he did, then it is what it is. I'll see it when I see it, but I'm not one to get too caught up into the speculations. I'm not one to get caught up into any negativity when it comes to stuff like Vince McMahon. That whole situation, I was just not talking about it. At the end of the day, man, Vince gave us wrestling. What he's done behind closed doors, that's on him, but we can't deny that wrestling is amazing because Vince McMahon took a risk. He knew his worth. When it comes to Vince McMahon, I have the opposite thought. At the end of the day, you can become a millionaire, billionaire off of the business, but like, bro, there's just some things you don't do at the end of the day. Whether it's true or false, that'll come to light when it comes out in court. So I don't think anybody, even myself, have any right to have cues right away until we know like what's going on. But right now, based on evidence, it seems like it's not in his favor. Regardless of that, I agree with you on the negativity stuff when it comes to, especially like with this whole war with AEW versus WWE. Like all the AEW fans are like, oh, WWE got the shitty wrestlers, and then WWE fans are like, oh, look at AEW, they can't even sell out seats. Like, oh, it's not on hard cam. Look at everybody's just front row. It's a little gathering, not a whole sold out arena. Like, what do you think of these people that are like so tribalist towards one company over the other? I mean, it's what WCW and WWE were doing at a point in time during that Attitude Era. People just like to pin people against each other, and you see it so many times with even wrestlers that are cool wrestlers behind closed doors. However, people pin them against each other. So what I think about it, man, I love AEW, I love WWE. I obviously prefer WWE more, but it's, as you mentioned earlier, having
giving WWE competition only made WWE better. So whether you AEW or not, is like AEW did good for the business. It allows people that got released during a tough time to go and find a new home. So I love it, man. I don't get into that same thing, right? Where people's like, oh, look at the AEW's crowd or WWE's crowd. At the end of the day, WWE, 40 years plus of wrestling versus AEW, that is what, 5-6 years in. Like, give them a chance. WWE didn't start off where they're at today. They had to work to get there, and AEW is going to be doing the same thing.
I guarantee you WWE wasn't at even AEW's point in 5 years of the WWF starting. I get it. It was the 60s. So like it wasn't as technologically advanced and like as open because of social media. But even if you translate that to now, it would probably be very difficult for them to grow if it was the reversed role. Plus, I feel like there's just so many people that like take this so personally with wrestling, whether it's your favorite person lost or your favorite show sucked. Like, we all have our like picks of people that we boo. We have our people that we cheer on. Like, I'm not even just talking about Cody and Roman. I'm talking about people that have gotten criticism lately, like Liv Morgan, Maxine Dupree, over like apparently people are saying her wrestling skills suck, but like I dare them to actually get into the middle of the ring and do anything that she does, whether it's the worm or the backflip. I dare anybody to do anything, or even just be in the ring. You'd probably be scared shitless, like being in their shoes, or even trying to memorize and choreograph a match at that point. It's easy to say, but I don't know. It's just, when I see stuff like that, it's like, bro, just enjoy the freaking show. You don't gotta be a whole sports analyst about it. Just, it's the grown man soap opera.
Even when people say wrestling is fake, it's like, okay, well, I would love for you to go and get dropped on your head or take this chair shot to the head or whatever that looks like. People always got something to say, man. And I always say, especially in my community, that wrestling is so opinionated. It's okay for you to have your own opinion. Who you like, I don't like. Whatever you know, whatever segment you like, I may not like. And it's cool. That's what wrestling for, is for those that may like heels and may like faces, right? So I think people just get too caught up thinking they run things or they own something or it's their way or the highway. But let's be honest, we just got a lot of trolls on social media that
the trolls too. Yep,
that's a little headache. Yeah,
and like we pay them no mind. It's just the people that get serious about it. Like, I don't know if you saw that. Did you ever see that video of the guy who was pissed off? I mean, not pissed off, he didn't like that Samantha cried when Cody won.
I did see that.
Like,
yeah, I did see that.
Like, bro, like, to have the audacity, and for anybody in the chat that doesn't know what I'm talking about, this guy like went on a rant about how Samantha crying was her being sensitive and that we shouldn't have sensitivity in the wrestling industry. Like, I looked at him like he's a freaking joke. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
I mean, to me, it probably added more to the story and all that we were able to see, like, someone, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just added so much character to the whole situation. The Michael Cole, because Michael Cole was damn near in tears as well. I think it just added more to the whole story of Cody Rhodes finally finishing something that, you know, his dad couldn't finish. But again, not everything wrestling related is going to be everybody's cup of tea. Like, there's things I don't like in the WWE, but do I sit here and just complain about it all the time and just go on social media and talk about, you know, I don't like this and why this and WWE should do this? No, and enjoy the product. You know what I'm saying? It's a hit or miss at the end of the day. They can't cater to everybody. They're catering to the masses, if anything.
If you try to please everybody in this world, you're never going to satisfy anybody, because everybody has their own opinions. And like, you know, that guy, sure, he has his own opinion. Like, there shouldn't be sensitivity in wrestling. But when I heard Cody win, you know, the crowd's cheering, they did the 1, 2, 3, Michael Cole's yelling, finish the story. I was actually kind of distracted at the fact that Samantha yelled it out in such a different way, where it almost felt like she had emotion with it, and I was like almost happy for her. And then when like WWE posted like the video of her, like I was like, damn, she really was emotional. And in a good way, I was happy for her. So it's like, the fact that people always got something to say is like ridiculous.
I mean, I almost got emotional with all of them. Like, after I'm seeing Seth Rollins and I'm hearing Samantha and I'm seeing, you know, Michael Cole, I'm like, man, this is very touchy right here. Like, this is crazy. So again, all of that emotion that played out during that ending of night 2 WrestleMania, I think was needed. It really gave a lot of wrestling fans that emotional connection as well, because maybe they felt alone, but now they get to see there's other people in the business that feel the same, and now, right, you have a connection there. So I don't know. I think wrestling fans, should just enjoy the show and stop thinking that they're the director or the writers.
Even Cody, I mean not Cody, even Roman hugging Paul at the beginning of the stage. Like,
Yeah,
like obviously we didn't see that live, but when like people there were filming it, and even WWE I think posted like another angle of it, like I felt sad for Roman, but it was like a bittersweet sad, if you get what I'm saying. Like I was happy that Cody won, but I'm also sad Roman lost. But I know Roman is crying in a way tears of happiness because of the way things went. Maybe he was happy that the match went splendidly well and like the crowd was just over. It just goes to show how much dedication we have towards this industry and business as fans.
Absolutely, brother.
One of my next questions is one thing I noticed when I would check out your TikToks, because again we met on like the TikTok lives and stuff. You're doing very well in the TikTok space. So tell the chat, if you can, how did you get into making wrestling content, whether it's the live streams or like videos you make for your channel? And and what makes...
I almost knew nothing about TikTok. I knew nothing about Twitch. I knew nothing about YouTube, other than I would watch, maybe some of you guys may know, Conman167. Shout out to him as well, because he's been doing this. The dude's a legend in the game. And I would watch what he would do, and he started on YouTube, and I remember him sending people to Twitch, and then from Twitch he went back to YouTube, and then he talked about Kick. So the only reason I knew about all these things was because I would kind of watch Conman and how he had his own community. But I think to myself, and nothing against him, but I'm like, yo, I can do that. How cool is it to have your own community? And I was already doing a lot of speaking, virtual teaching, and things like that. So I was already kind of building up a setup, because I do my own podcast and my other channel where we talk about more just self-help. And after really getting this set up here, and I've added a little bit, I thought to myself, like, yo, why don't I just give it a try? And I think the first event that I went live was I started on Twitch. And it's very hard to build on Twitch without a community. So I still remember my first person, Rapids from Ireland, still shows up from time to time.
Nice.
So I went on Twitch. I think it was, can't remember what show it was, and then I took some time off because I just wasn't working for me. So I came back again, but through YouTube, and I did YouTube and Twitch, and it was like SummerSlam of last year. And I have not missed a Monday and Friday ever since. I don't even know what my first video was on TikTok. Is probably like, you know, a live reaction. But that's how it kind of all got started. And then once I was able to go live on TikTok, the rest is history, man. I'm still learning all these platforms, but I'm damn near close to 5,000 followers. People always come to me like, yo, you really have a community. Like some may have the followers, but I have the community. And I think that just kind of speaks to who I am as an individual, and the type of energy and vibes, such as yourself, can bring to a stream. This that we do is not easy, right? Sometimes I always tell people that when you want to do this, be ready to be consistent and be ready to talk to yourself. Because a lot of times it may look like that, like you're talking to yourself, because you don't really see anybody. You're just seeing comments. Hell, I don't even know what your name is. We only know what your social media name is. So yeah, that's how I kind of got started for me, man. And it's been a great 7 to 8 month ride that I've had.
Dude, you've been crushing it. Every time I go into your TikTok stream, you got like 40-50 people in there. So you're doing fantastic things out there. And
that ain't good enough for me, man. I gotta build.
Well, yeah, of course. Everybody wants to build, and like you, the way you're going, the sky's the limit, honestly. So I could see you continuing. You're always engaging with your chat. They're always like just they're having a good time. Whenever I pull up, like the first thing you're like, yo, what's up, Julian, and all that. And like I just feel welcomed in there. So that's always a good thing. And you're taking advantage of like your streaming with the live studio, and like eventually you're gonna use like OBS and Streamlabs and all that. So it's like take advantage of what you got.
OBS, man. I've been using OBS. Right? I just started doing lifetime recording using something else. Well, lifetime recording is OBS, but before I even started lifetime recording, I was always going off OBS because that's how I go live on TikTok. So the way that I go live is I go live on everything on OBS, and then I use that same camera source for TikTok Studios. Now I'm kind of rearranging a lot. So I've been able to do some things with OBS, but anybody that wants to learn any of this, I've learned all of this through trial and error in YouTube University, right? And I didn't have 3 screens. I didn't have a PC. This is just something that came over time, right? This is me investing in myself. But if you guys want to really start somewhere, just start by turning on your phone and going live on your phone, because that's what TikTok is. And it's been an exciting run. I've loved to see the growth. And I started with streaming, and now I'm doing other things such as interviews and lifetime reactions and all those different things. But start somewhere. Just stop thinking that you got to be perfect. But I'm pretty sure Julian, yourself, you can attest to that. It's like, none of this is easy. We make it look easy, but in reality, it's because we decided to take risks. Going back to the motto of know your worth, we understood what our worth was, and we wanted to get back to the wrestling community. And hell, here we are having an interview with Mr. Julian just laying down.
People don't realize the sacrifice that streamers and content creators do, especially the biggest ones that are posting every single day. It's not just you just go on your phone, record, and in one take, hey, this is what I'm thinking about Monday Night Raw, and then just post it, and that's it. Like, there is sacrifice, there's time away from your family, that there is distractions from work, there is like money that people spend on this stuff, and it's like impossible to get rich quick. So when you see somebody just blowing up out of nowhere, it's not because they bought their way there or they just got rich quick in a scheme. Like, they put in work that a lot of people don't see behind the scenes, whether it's with family, whether it's with themselves, self-worth, knowing your worth. If it's physically having to build a PC, just naturally knowing the logic of how you want to get your work done and having that schedule to do it. So if you're thinking of streaming, just like Know Your Wrestling said, be ready to be consistent, because it is not for everybody. I mean, it can be for everybody, but only the most consistent survive. Your first video was August 11th, 2023.
There you go.
Over on your TikTok. I'll stop my questions for a second. I'm going to get into some of the questions that are from the chat. And chat, feel free to ask whatever you like. This is an open conversation. I want chat to be engaged in this, so you're more than welcome to put whatever you'd like. There's no limit on how many you can put, as long as you have one channel point for it. This is not really a question, but I think this is really nice. Thank you, Luke, for this comment. Not really a question, more like a statement. As someone who was once on the Laying It Down podcast, which he was a few weeks ago, it was an absolute great honor to be on it. It's a fun time, and you are very lucky to be on it. Luke, you're a W. If anybody wants to check out Luke's episode, it's on my YouTube, !YouTube in chat, and you'll be able to see his episode. And we actually posted a clip earlier today from over on TikTok of it. So really great time with him. But yeah, it's been great so far. I absolutely love hanging out with you right now. So again, from Luke, what are your thoughts on Ryback? And I know we kind of spoke about Ryback earlier.
I've never really been a fan of Ryback. I like what Ryback is doing and branding himself. I think that's the amazing part, right? Is how you can take an L somewhere and how do you rebound and make it work for you. And that's what Ryback is doing. I was never a fan of Ryback the wrestler. I'm a fan of Ryback the businessman, because I love entrepreneurship. Like I said, out of wrestling, that's what I do. I'm an entrepreneur. I've been able to open and close different businesses, and a lot of times I've had to walk away from things or take those L's. We mentioned about L's a little earlier. And what I learned about those L's is that it's not a loss, it's a lesson. So always remember, when you take an L in life, it's not a loss, it's a lesson. And how do you gain and learn knowledge from where you're at? I think WWE gave him a lot of knowledge to be who he is today outside of WWE. But the wrestler, the Ryback, if he ever shows back up, if he doesn't show back up, I'm okay with that as well.
And I think I've learned a good amount from Ryback too. Like, he made a few videos on like how WWE wrestlers like manage their like rental cars and planes and hotels. I don't know if you saw that video, breaking down that. I think even the taxes one.
No, but I would say that he kind of got a lot of that from Maven. I don't know if you've been watching Maven, but Maven
I saw that. I saw some of his videos, which was pretty interesting, because when I saw the Maven one, he went over what was the most he made in 1 year. I think how much he made total as a wrestler. And bro, they made bank back in the day before digital stuff was a thing. The pay-per-view sales, oh my god. Like, the fact that
pay-per-views, DVDs, all that good stuff.
The fact that he made $38,000 in one night is insane, just from the ticket sales. And I think it was like based on like at what point of the card you were in.
He has a new one with Masay and Mansoor, or Mason Mansoor, I guess if you want to call him.
Okay.
He has a new one, and they kind of talk about what it looks like now, as of current wrestling, and how much they actually get paid. I got to go back and watch that one. So it looks like there's a little change there, but they still get paid, bro.
Yeah, I'm sure their royalties are insane based on like how much sales they make. Like Roman and Cody are probably the most in terms of sales. LA Knight's probably there. For the woman, it's definitely Rhea Ripley and maybe even up and coming Tiffany Stratton as she gets exposed a little bit more in SmackDown. I could see them as like the top merch sellers right now. And then
I forgot to mention another wrestler that I've actually got to see recently was Metaphor. All four of the Metaphors, and Carmelo Hayes and his girlfriend Kalani Jordan, I think is her name. I was able to meet them in person. They're pretty cool as well.
Have you ever gotten to meet Trick Williams?
No, but I found out that Lash Legend and Trick Williams are a thing because Lash Legend was there.
Interesting. There was a video on TikTok from Mania weekend. There was the guy who was doing the trumpet and doing people's theme songs, and Trick Williams pulled up in the video while he was doing the whoop that trick.
No, the saxophone.
The saxophone. My bad, not the trumpet.
Yeah. I've seen that too.
It was so freaking good. But that guy's talented.
Cool. But that's just one of those things of do what you love because you don't know when that moment's going to, present itself. That was that moment. That dude's just out there just performing, not knowing that Trick Williams was going to pop up on him. So I think that was pretty damn cool, man. That's one of those messages right there. Just do what you love because if it's meant for you, it's going to show up when you least expect it.
He handled it way better than I would have. If I was playing the saxophone and he pulled up, I probably would have lost my air. I would have lost my traction of which notes to hit. I would have been like, oh my god, it's Trick Williams. Let's go. I would have gave him a high five or whatever, but he handled it very well. He kept performing, and that's why they're talented. That's why they do those things for years and years. Practice makes perfect, and it almost seems like he's been doing it for years, which I'm sure he has. Big John has a question. There are talks around about the possibility of Vince McMahon selling his TKO shares and buying AEW. Which is actually a little different from what I actually heard, Big John. I actually heard he wants to make his own promotion. But either way, what is your opinion on that? I think it would be fun to see it.
It goes back to that speculations we talked about earlier. I don't believe it until I see it because everyone has something to say. Anybody can create any type of fake news. Do I think that Vince McMahon has the time right now? Is he in his best shape of his life? I mean, the dude's walking around a cane. You can see he's looking a lot older. You can see there's a lot going on. XFL didn't go good for him. Is he going to buy AEW out?
I
just don't see it, to be honest with you. I think if someone's going to buy AEW, it's going to have to be TKO Group. I just don't know that Vince McMahon wants to go and drop all this money unless he ain't got nothing else better to do with his money. But I don't see it at all. And Tony Khan and the Pride will definitely not want to sell it to Vince McMahon. I don't know. That's just my thoughts on that.
I personally think Vince, if he had to pick between making his own company and buying AEW, he's making his own company. I read somewhere that his non-compete clause ends in January of 2025, meaning after that time Vince can do anything wrestling related and he will not get in trouble for it. And that's just an interesting thing to see, because maybe we could see a third promotion, which has never happened before. So that would be interesting to see. I think Vince, knowing him, he's up to the schematics as always. Either he's gonna try and push himself back into WWE, which I don't think would happen because TKO just said, nah, you're out of here. Or he could make VMW, Vince McMahon Wrestling. But I don't think that would go very well because of the said accusations. I don't think anybody would really want to work with that or have that reputation unless they're a really die-hard McMahon fan, which isn't really too many. Also, thank you for the question, Wrestling Today. I'll get to it very shortly. Sullen, thank you for the 25 bits. I don't know if I even said goodbye.
You can skip that question from Wrestling Today. You can skip it.
I swear to God, all the world star is going into this stream, and I'm absolutely here for it. The fact that my chat, they just went all out and RKO'd you and stomped you and speared you. I'm here saying behave, his community's coming in here, and then all of a sudden RKOs and stomps and drop kicks. I'm like, bro, y'all wildin'.
I love it though. I loved it.
I freaking love my community, and I'm glad your community is mixing in just fine. You guys are freaking awesome. So I'll do one more, and then I'll ask one of mine, because I actually have one that I'm curious about. If you could sit and talk business with any wrestler, who would it be? And that's from Wrestling Today. And you have to answer the question, because he's in here asking questions.
No, I would answer it. He knows nothing but love, nothing but love. It has to be The Rock, man. I mean, you think about The Rock and what he's been able to do out of WWE. You have to talk to somebody like that. The dude has so many different business ventures out of WWE. Why would you not want to have that conversation with somebody like him? So definitely The Rock. Hell, I would also try to figure out how we can do a business together. You know what I'm saying, at this point, because anything The Rock touches is gold. So I'm definitely hitting up The Rock on that one.
People don't realize too, The Rock has a lot of businesses. Like, he dealt with the XFL. He has his new like Zoa brand. I forget what exactly Zoa is, but like he has this,
it's like an energy drink.
Got it, yeah. And then he has a tequila brand too. Influence from Hollywood. Like, even if whether he has one business or five, the connections that man has to Hollywood and so many celebrities across every single niche. That's the thing about The Rock. He is, even though came up as a wrestler, his Hollywood career appeals to the masses, not just wrestlers, which is very rare for superstars to go into that spotlight. John Cena is another one to do it, and maybe even Roman Reigns too. I agree with
he's
that.
on his way, Roman Reigns.
But I like that answer, because The Rock is definitely one. Whether he's the final boss or he's Dwayne Johnson, he's definitely someone you want on your side. I'm gonna do one of my questions next, and then we'll get to the next questions that I have here. Thank you guys for the questions, by the way. You guys make this even more entertaining than the silly questions that I have. Thank you for helping us think outside the box, because sometimes I'll have my questions that I like to ask. You guys think of stuff that I wouldn't even thought of. So you recently purchased your first PC and built it. So it looks really nice from here. I do see it. How was the experience of building it? Because we do have a lot of non-wrestling fans here that have either built their PC, bought a pre-built, or just had someone do it for them. How was that experience, or even looking to like make their own soon? How would you say the experience was building it?
Well, first I want to say hello to Greg, because Greg says hello, so hello to him. My experience to build it was that the next time I have to do it, it's going to be a quicker job. And I remember when Just Laying Down told me, like, bro, it's going to take you some time. And I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, it shouldn't look, I see all these parts. I'm like, it shouldn't be too bad. It took me some time. And then what happened is, so I bought, everything is separate. I knew nothing about building PCs. My cousin sent me all the pieces. So I'm watching a lot of YouTube videos. These lights at one point, they weren't going on, so I'm trying to figure out, because they don't connect to the motherboard, so I'm doing research on that. So I would say it was a headache a little bit. I was actually recording the whole process. I still haven't even edited the video, but I recorded the whole process. And I'm the type of guy, though, that when I set my mind to do something, I'm going to do it. And I did. Will I do it again? I don't know. I guess I probably have a better understanding, but it's challenging. If you guys want to build your own PC, it's challenging, but it's possible. It's possible. Just a lot of YouTube University, man. A lot of YouTube University.
Even though I'm an IT professional, I've been in the IT profession for about 8 years now. I looked up everything about my PC and how to build it, because I had no experience until 2021 of actually building stuff and getting all the pieces. Like, thankfully I was able to turn it on the first try, but that's not the case for a lot of people. And like,
oh yeah, I was able to turn it on. The only thing is that the lights on these fans were not working. So, and it's because I had to connect them straight to this power supply through another core that I've never seen a day in my damn life.
The hub, right? Is it like a hub, like a fan hub, where you connect a few of them?
Yeah, exactly. And another thing I would say is I remember listening to people and how much money they would spend on buying a PC or something like that. I'm like, I would never. But not realizing that you need things like this when it comes to streaming and doing so much live stuff. And even a little bit ago when I lost connection, in reality, it's because I don't have this hardwired, so I gotta eventually get an Ethernet cord from inside my house. I'm on Wi-Fi, yeah.
Okay. If you have any questions about setup, let me know. I can help you out with like internet stuff. I'm probably the last person that should speak on that after having a month of shitty internet, but like in terms of like the tech side of it, if you have any questions, I can help you out.
So what I was gonna do is Well, people don't know, by the way, and I'll go ahead and spill the beans, is that this is a space in my garage that I'm in. Like, I'm literally in a little
Okay.
corner right here in my garage. And the box, my modem and router, it's all inside my living room. So I would have to, from my living room, put an Ethernet cord into my attic, go into my attic, running all over here so I can hardwire it. So it's still not even really done, to be honest with you, because I hate
Yeah.
when it does that. Sometimes the internet just wants to go out on me, like in the middle of me doing this stuff like this. So it's fun. It's fun. It's challenging. If you get stressed easily, I don't recommend.
Yeah, I agree on that. If you're like, oh, the screw's not going in, or like if you're pressing the power button and it's like stuck at the BIOS, then and you just give up at that point, reach out to somebody or have somebody on standby. For chat, if you don't know, it took me about 3 hours to physically build the PC, and then another 5 hours of installing the OS, drivers, software, updates, and download all the games I wanted. So it takes a very long time. So if you think you're gonna get it done in like an hour or two, no. And that's me knowing where things are.
Well, my situation, I told you that I was using my laptops prior. I built everything and then forgot that I didn't have a mouse or a keyboard or speakers, or I'm like, oh crap, I still have to buy more things and I'm already almost $1,300 into this damn thing. But you know, I had to quickly get on Amazon and get a keyboard and mouse that I hate, but we got one.
As long as it works, that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
So for anybody that has questions about PC building, you can reach out to me, or this is a testimony from Mr. Know Your Wrestling from his experience from the PCs. But moral of the story, just be patient on it and you'll get it done, whether it's yourself or if somebody helps you. And there's nothing wrong with needing help on it. Don't go to Micro Center and pay $150. You can ask some IT professional and they'll do it for free. Like, help you out at least. So I see Vibe has 2 questions. I'll ask them at the same time, but one of the questions I had was actually Luke's question, and we kind of dabbled on it a little bit earlier. But what do you have to say for those who like to say that wrestling is fake? The dreaded question we get from non-fans.
You know, people come to my house all the time, and when I tell them what I do, they're like, bro, you know wrestling's fake, right? And these are my friends. And I'm like, yeah, so it's all the damn movies that you watch that took forever to put together, but these people out here doing live time entertainment. So why you hating? Or why you watching all this reality TV and you watching, you know, all these sports and all that, and they're athletes just like those people. So it depends how I feel. Listen, I could be an asshole, but that's my response I usually give them.
I don't get it as much anymore because they know that I'm serious about this content creation stuff, so they don't try to bring out this revealing revelation that, oh my god, they're not actually fighting each other. But like back when I first would just watch it as a fan, I got that all the time. And it's like, now that I'm a content creator with it, I'm just like, bro, Avengers was not real. Thanos did not snap half of the population of planet Earth. He did not make the good half. You'll be alright if I want to watch Randy Orton RKO somebody, or Devon get the tables. Exactly. Ridiculous how people try to compare that.
I'm not even a superhero type of guy, so definitely I'm like, yo, all your favorite superheroes are fake. Okay, so just letting you know, they're fake.
Like Spider-Man ain't actually in Astoria, Queens, web slinging to freaking the Empire State Building to save the city. Just not happening. What the fuck? He's not real. My whole life's been a lie, right? Oh, the horror. Let him know, Vibe. I know that's not a thing here, but if somebody has the urge to say, oh, isn't wrestling fake? Watch a show yourself, and you'll see how fake, quote unquote, it is. Wrestling may not have people legit punching, but the impact is very real. They have one take to do it, and if they break their neck, they're never wrestling again. Have you got a specific niche of business that you coach? Let us know a bit more about the entrepreneurial side of things. Thank you, Big John, for the question.
Yeah, good question. Business that I coach are creatives, small business owners, and people that are wanting to get into the business. And what I've realized, my first business, so I'll tell you a funny story, and then it's going to be like, no way. Have you ever seen Undercover Boss?
Yes.
So I was on the show Undercover Boss, probably like the 2nd season.
Wait, what?
And I'm like,
wait. Stop the music right now. Even though there's no music. Just pretend there's music. You've been on Undercover Boss?
I have. I was on Undercover Boss the 2nd season. Listen, my story is pretty crazy, I would say. But anyway, that happened, right? I'm 19 years old. I'm running my own store, $1 million store at 19 years old. And it happened. I'm on Undercover Boss. I meet the CFO, still friends to this day. But from that moment, one of the things he told me was like, yo, you're a rock star, right? And here I am, like 19 years old. I'm like manager of the month. I'm like rookie of the year. Like I'm doing my thing. So doing that for a couple of years, it got to the point that I opened up my own restaurant. I opened up a cafe called Lozada's Cafe. My last name's Lozada. So I did that at 22 years old, I believe. I closed that down. I actually started a nonprofit. To this day, still have a nonprofit. I've been able to open a furniture and appliance store. But through all these steps, right, of being a manager, being a leader, being a speaker, what I've realized in speaking to people all the time is that people have fear and don't realize that they have it within themselves. That Know Your Worth comes, that brand Know Your Worth that I created was more of people understanding they all have it, the talent within themselves. So the coaching that I love to do is definitely creatives, because I feel like I'm a creative, and as creatives, sometimes we don't feel like people understand us a lot. I love to talk to those so I don't really have a niche like a restaurant or, a retail or anything like that. It's strictly just creatives. It is small business owners, and it's new people starting the business. And what I realize is that a lot of people have the execution skills, but don't understand the processes. A lot of people understand the process, but don't know how to execute. A lot of people want to do a business, but don't want to be the face of it. So it's giving those people the idea. And it's not that like I'm giving you anything. I don't know if you've ever been to therapy, but I always say that coaching is like therapy. It's asking you questions for you to understand that you have everything that you need. You have to do it. Right? Or if you don't do it because it's your weakness, then find somebody that can do it for you. So understanding what your weakness is and your strength. So I actually just recently created my first workshop, and it's really for those, it's self-development, because I feel in order for you to do anything, you need to have some sort of self-development and understand yourself. So if anybody wants to do anything, understand yourself first, understand what your strengths and weaknesses are. And yeah, I can continue with this. Hopefully I answer the question though.
Nah, it's a really good question. Thank you again, Big John, for it, because that's really good. And like that's inspirational too, bro. Like opening up businesses, closing business, doing the next thing, opening up a nonprofit. Like, bro, at like you're 34, you said, like that's really impressive, man. So like big props to you on all of that success. That's freaking amazing. And you gotta message me your episode of Undercover Boss, because I need to watch it now. I need to see it.
I go back and cringe when I watch that 19-year-old Efrain. It's crazy.
That's freaking awesome though. Wrestling Today asks, why are you always hating on WTP?
Well, the reason I hate on Wrestling Today podcast, by the way, if you guys don't follow him, make sure you guys check him out. I would actually say, man, hats off to Wrestling Today podcast. When I started this journey over on TikTok, he was probably the first person. I don't even know how the conversation went, but one of the first people that I remember, and he was so genuine and just, having conversation. The only reason I give him crap though is because he started with me, and he was calling me the number 2 show and was trying to talk about my numbers and followers. So I had to let him know, like, yo, the only reason you got 10,000 followers, one, I'm gonna call you out because you started with me. The number one reason that you got these followers is because you show the actual show, right? Anyone can do that. So I always give him crap because it's like, yo, you can't call me the number 2 show, and I'm putting this work, and I'm doing this live streaming, talking, not showing any of the show. So you asked the question, I had to tell people the business, all right? At the end of the day, Wrestling Today podcast may have more numbers, but ideally, he's really number 2. Just saying, though. Yeah.
You really standing on business. Let's go. That's shots fired for sure. Now I can't wait for your next TikTok stream. I gotta go in there and see all the shots firing at each other.
And he be coming in my live talking trash all the time. So that's nothing but love though. He knows there's nothing but love, man. There's not a lot of people that I actually have somebody's number, and Wrestling Today is that guy that I have his number, and we can actually talk and really give each other ideas and stuff like that. So we definitely want to see each other win. So it's nothing but jokes and having fun, guys. Believe me, we're cool.
Those are the best relationships too, where you could just like talk shit to each other and still love each other at the end of the day. And those are the best ones to have, like the people that you could be blunt with, but also know like, yo, I got you, bro, if anything.
Absolutely.
So what are your normal hours for streaming, like on TikTok, like for the chat and for me too? Because like sometimes I'm busy at work, but if I'm available, I can pull up.
100% you're gonna find me Mondays and Fridays live 8 p.m. for the show wrestling, and any Mondays and Fridays and every premium live events. However, which is crazy that I'm here with you guys. This Friday I will not be live, and this is the first Friday I missed in 7-8 months, bro. However long I've been doing this. First Friday I missed, and it was very hard. Do I really take off because I try to stay so consistent? But I'm on the board of directors for my old high school, and I felt.
Oh wow.
To the business side of it, I had to do that for the network purpose. So it was really hard for me. And I still want to try to get there and hurry up and run back home. But between where I'm going and home, it's like a 35, 40-minute drive. That I may still be able to go live for some of the show, but not all of the show. Other than that, though, guys, I'm live every Monday and Friday, 8 p.m., every premium live event. I'm also live. And I try now, what I've been doing to build my followers is that I try to go live either in the morning time, do a wrestling talk and coffee. So about 10 o'clock is where I'm usually live. If I can't make that 10 o'clock, then I'm probably in the afternoon. And again, it's just the reason I do that is what I realize is that people, when they're watching wrestling, they don't realize there's a community like me or you that they can watch wrestling with. I always say that I created a wrestling community so people don't have to watch wrestling alone. And people haven't found that yet. But they do when I go in the morning time and I'm telling them like, hey, I don't just go live now. Like I'm live Mondays and Fridays. But if you ever really, really want to see me, for sure, Mondays and Fridays, 8 p.m. I'm live on Twitch, TikTok, YouTube, Kick, X, wherever I can stream, I'm on there. And then from time to time, you'll see me also just randomly talking trash about wrestling on TikTok.
That's a freaking W. Guys, you heard it here. Monday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. This Friday is actually going to be the first Friday I miss, like, that was planned in a while, too. I usually do SmackDown reaction streams, but I don't know. I wasn't feeling it this week. I was like, let's do the podcast and then enjoy the weekend. For Perfection, I'll do your question in a sec.
Yeah, shout out to Perfection as well, man. I actually, he came into my live one time. We follow each other. So shout out Perfection for being in here as well.
Yeah, he's good people. He's definitely good people. So Vibe Queen. Vibe, I didn't ignore your questions before you try to say I ignore you, even though it's the other way around. So this question was asked, but I will ask it again so Vibe can hear the answer. And then I'll ask her other question right after. So first question is, what got you into wrestling? And was there a certain moment that got you into it? And then her other question was, outside of wrestling, what do you like to do on your spare time?
Really quick, Vibe Queen. I would love to hydrate, but I ain't got no more water in here. My water tank's over there. I almost wanted to just go get water. However, I'm gonna wait. All right, I'm gonna wait. What got me into wrestling is I was 5 years old. I have older brothers. They were watching wrestling during the Attitude Era. I had no choice but to watch what they were watching. I fell in love with people. My favorite wrestler we mentioned earlier was Mankind. So I fell in love with people like the Mankind, the Canes, the X-Pacs, the Rock, the Stone Colds, and the rest is history. I've been watching ever since. I think that the second question was, what do I do on my spare time? Business. I'm a father of two, though. So I guess if I'm not doing anything business, I'm trying to be the best dad that I could be because I didn't have one. So I'm trying to be that. I try to be a good husband. But listen, if you ask my wife, she'd probably tell you like this dude doesn't stop business. I sometimes lay down in bed and my mind is just going. So as a creative, sometimes I don't know how to turn it off. So that's what I'm doing in my off time. I do a lot of speaking, as I mentioned, from board of directors that we're doing here. This week we have an event going on through streaming, through, I always feel, even my friends, having a coaching session with my friends today. I had one reach out to me about where he's at, just business-wise. I love business talk, man. So between business talk and wrestling talk, those are my two favorite things that I could do all day.
And at the end of the day, like, the grind never stops. And I've said that several times, whether it's on Twitch or TikTok or wherever I've said it. The grind never stops. And when you have that mindset that you want to just keep going, there's no stopping. And usually that's 90% of what's needed to be successful is just the drive. A lot of times people think it's actually doing the work when in reality it's just the drive to do the work that people need in order to be successful. So it seems like you have that down pat. That's a real
listen, people say that, but I'm still, and it's, I don't know. I feel like I hold myself to a high standard and I know what I want. Sometimes it gets hard, bro. And I'm pretty sure you've been there. We've all been there, is that when you want something and you're putting in the work, but it's not coming, right? You feel like it's just like, where is it? And I would say when you get to that moment, man, just stay consistent. Even this journey of wrestling, when I told people I was doing this, you know how hard it was when people say, oh, this is just a hobby for you. I'm like, no, this is a brand. Like, Know Your Wrestling is a brand. I think it's more than just me going live and talking wrestling. Is, I have goals of being at the press conference for a WWE pay-per-view. Like, when I
Same,
see
same.
those people that I watch on YouTube and they're there, I'm like, okay, how do I get there? Right? Like, so everything that I've done in life, I feel that it is leading me to that moment that it's just going to put me in a place that even I never imagined. But I always say it's God's timing. God's timing is everything, man. Just continue to put in the work, continue to do what you got to do, and don't sit here and focus on everybody else's success, because that's not your success. So God's timing, man. Put in the work. I still think, even though I've done a lot, I still think there's so much more to go. I always appreciate, the compliments, so I'll take the compliment. But I still feel like I'm in the learning, process of my life.
And like, there's nothing wrong with that too. Like, people tell me all the time, like, JLD, you're the reason I started watching wrestling again. JLD, you're doing a great job. JLD, you're doing this and that. And like, I'm very humbled by it, because sometimes I have those thoughts where I just don't feel like I'm doing enough. Because I think a lot of times too, like, it's hard to not compare yourself to how others are doing. Like, obviously I know I'm doing a fantastic job doing stuff like this, but you see other people doing stuff, and like, you see how like the kind of credit and like engagement they're getting, you're like, oh, I wish I could do that. I think once people get out of that funk of like looking at the numbers or like seeing how famous people are, then you can focus on yourself, and then you'll end up there anyway.
Absolutely. I would say one person that I look at all the time, and I think to myself, and no shade to him, but Santi Zap, man, like, to me, he's the king of what we do. And
He's
I always,
he's the guy.
I look, yeah, and I look and I'm like, what does Santi Zap have that I don't, right? We're just as good. Me and you are both just as good as Santi Zap. It's his moment. It's his moment to sit in that throne, and he did what he had to do, and he's put in the work, and there's a reason he's there. But doesn't mean that we won't surpass him and we won't see success in our own rights, and whatever success looks like for us. That was his success in the streaming world. I don't see that we're just streamers. I think that we have a character within us that it can be more than just online presence. It's fun, man. And for anyone that's watching, and you guys tune in to Just Laying Down on a weekly basis or whatever it is, whenever you guys can, just remember, man, this, as he mentioned, there's times when I do not want to go live. I'm just so tired, but I have to stay committed to what it is that I wanted to do, to the craft. Make sure that you are also, whenever you can, share some love on his side, right? We do this. We would love to do this full time. I'm actually right now doing this full time, but I'm not monetizing the way that I know I should, right? But I still have to show up, even when I didn't make anything. So as our viewers, we appreciate the love, and whenever you can, whether it's sharing it to somebody else, whether it's subscribing on a month that maybe you can't, that just means the world to us. It's been a phenomenal ride so far, but it also takes you guys as our viewers to keep us up when we're down, because this is all a community building. You know what I'm saying? Like, from this, I'm pretty sure me and Just Laying Down are going to have a lot of conversation. I told you, Wrestling Today podcast, we were on the phone for a good 30 minutes the other day just talking business. So just understand, on the back end, it takes a lot out of us. It takes so much out of us to be out here speaking as much as we do when we're sick or when we're not. So I'm happy that you are taking that mental health day, we can call it.
Yes, I will be relaxing on a Friday with Mrs. JLD, and just maybe I'll figure out if we go out or something, because I think like her brother had plans to like go somewhere and like was gonna invite us, but if not, then maybe I'll do something with her outside, just enjoy the night. Because usually we'd be watching SmackDown, maybe we just not watch SmackDown, just take a day away from the wrestling and all that. How does your time look right now? Because it's 9:19. I know it's been like over an hour.
I mean, I could do another at least 10 minutes, bro. It don't matter.
All right, word. The real question is, when is Know Your Wrestling and JLD getting in the ring together on the game? Do you want to be in 2K?
For me?
Or is it literally just copy and paste my character for you?
I don't have 2K24.
You don't need to.
I don't. So another thing is,
I just make you.
No, I know. I'm down. You put me in the game. But I would love to just have a game night, but I just don't play video games. That's the crazy thing. I know people are always surprised when I say I don't play video games. I just don't know when I have the time to play video games, because I'm the type of guy that if I play video games, I get stuck on it until I beat it. So that happened to me with Grand Theft Auto. That happened to me with WWE 2K23. I sat there. My wife, I remember one night, especially during the pandemic, I had nothing else to do. and it's like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. I never went to sleep, and I'm still playing video games. So I'm the type of guy that I love challenges. So I can't play video games because I'll stay stuck on them, and then I never get what I need to get done.
So because of the timing, I'm gonna do 2 questions from chat. I'll pick just 2 final questions from chat, and then I will do my question as the final, and then you'll just, if there's any final thoughts you have for us, and then we would be good for the podcast for the night. So let me look through my chat real quick. Guys, seriously, you guys have been all out with the questions. I'm grateful for it. Thank you so much, seriously, for participating and being a part of this, because it's because of you guys all of this happens. So Perfection Pro Wrestler, as you know him, and also I didn't know that was your girlfriend, Perfections. That's freaking awesome. I'm happy you're spreading the word. That means a lot to me, seriously. What is the hot take? What is the hottest take you have right now about wrestling?
I don't know. I never sit here and think about the hottest take of anything. I just sit on and talk wrestling or whatever the hell comes to mind. So I don't really have a hot take.
How did you come up with the name Know Your Wrestling?
Well, my other brand is called Know Your Worth.
Got it. Okay.
The whole brand is called Know Your Worth Creative Group. So I started off with Know Your Worth. Let me tell you how I got to Know Your Worth. Matter of fact, look, check this out. I actually got Know Your Worth hoodies.
Do you have a link for it?
This is a design. Say it again?
Do you have a link for it, or is it just like you inbox and you ship it out yourself?
Yeah, I do all my own stuff. So
okay.
I would love to have someone else do it, but I'm all about quality, and a lot of these sites that you go on, they just don't have the quality. But Know Your Worth came about because when I was mentoring at my old high school, I wanted to give a shirt to this young man. I was already doing shirts. I used to have a t-shirt. I still do printing and decals and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to give him a shirt that was also motivational and can give a quote, and it was Know Your Worth. I found that, and I'm like, okay, cool. And obviously, there's a lot of people have Know Your Worth shirts. Yeah. So I ran with that. I seen it. I see it on website. I think one time we were talking about it, but I created that actual logo, Know Your Worth. I think it was on my birthday. I wanted to create my own logo, and I created that logo, and I was running with that. I've sold a lot of those shirts, and then I'm at the place now where I don't want to just be known for the self-help guy, and Know Your Worth TV is what I have on YouTube as well. I wanted to have a creative group where I can still do my coaching, my consulting, and my hosting, and just the production side of it. So KYW Creative Group came about. So now I have the KYW Creative Group, obviously for Know Your Worth Creative Group. But then I'm like, okay, well, I have another wrestling channel, and I wanted to have the same abbreviations. And I thought about it. Know Your Wrestling. So Know Your Worth, yep. Know Your Wrestling. That's how that came about. And then when I seen it and no one had it, I'm like, yo, that actually makes sense. So when I started off, I haven't done it in a long time, but I used to do trivias. I used to do trivia all the time about knowing your wrestling, right? That's what this stands for. So it's always funny. People come on like, do you know your wrestling? And they'll tell me something about like the 70s and 80s. I'm like, nah, bro, like, I don't know that crap. But it's just understanding. It's just a community. It's a channel for people to just understand they can come love wrestling, and I'll be able to insight them on what wrestling has to offer today, and even during the Attitude Era, or even during that time between today and Attitude Era.
I think a lot of wrestling fans too can relate to the Attitude Era, because when I talk about like, oh, I'm a wrestling content creator, a lot of the response back ends up being, oh, I remember watching wrestling back in the 90s with Stone Cold and all that. So it's nice to see that they remember that, and then they come back like, eventually later. Yep. So I got 2 final questions from the chat before I do my final one. I'll combine them into 2. They're 2 completely random questions, so just bear with me. The first question is, what is your favorite title belt of all time? And the second one is, what do you put in your oatmeal? Completely random.
The Winged Eagle is my all-time favorite.
Okay.
And what do I put in my oatmeal? I don't really put anything in my oatmeal. Well, let me tell you something. I have a wife, so the last time I actually had to cook oatmeal, it's been a very long time. I don't mind putting blueberries in my oatmeal, I guess, strawberries. But to be very honest with you, I'm a very plain Jane type of guy. Like, if you ask me what's my favorite cereal, I'm going to tell you cornflakes and Cheerios. So if there was like a bar and I had to put stuff in my oatmeal, I'll probably just eat the oatmeal plain, to be very honest.
I'm a big peanut butter guy, so I put peanut butter and Nutella in my oatmeal, and it's really good. Mix it with a little bit of cinnamon, mix it all together. God tier, especially after the gym. After a nice like chest pump, you get because the oatmeal's already protein, but when you add the peanut butter and all that, That's how you get your gains. So the final question, and again, thank you for hopping on today. Like, you've been a freaking blessing to have on the chat. Maybe we even eventually do like a returning guest with you. It's freaking W here. And that goes for everybody that we've had so far. I've had 3 successful episodes, so we're gonna aim and try to go for as many as we can with so many different content creators, including yourself. My final question is, WrestleMania 40 was one of the best WrestleManias of all time. And I mean, that could be an opinion, but to me, it was one of the best WrestleManias of all time. What kind of emotions did you feel throughout the entire weekend? And tell us some of your favorite matches.
Yeah, absolutely. WrestleMania 40 was the best WrestleMania of all time, in my opinion, as well. I was just excited, not just so much for even just WrestleMania being great, but to be a part of it with my community. I think what was awesome, it was my first time doing a WrestleMania with my community. We were able to do some giveaways. That's where actually when the merch finally was released, I was able to give one of these shirts out, as well as my Women Love Wrestling collection. And if I had to say my favorite matches, definitely that Gunther and Sami Zayn, which I knew was going to be a banger. That was definitely one that I could just off the top of my head remember. Obviously, we could talk about the main events for both night 1 and night 2, but that's kind of a give me because that's why they were the main events. I love the Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins. I loved it. I think night 5 actually, or night 2 is not night 5. Night 2, I got all the matches correct.
WrestleMania had night 5. WrestleMania week.
Crazy,
WrestleMania week, Monday through Friday.
You know what? I'm such a fan. I watch all 5 days too. No, I loved it. I loved because I knew exactly what was going to happen, and I was happy to see Damian Priest in that light. I said if they wanted to really push Damian Priest, and he deserved it, give him the title. I just love what it really planted, that match, like that beginning of night 2. It planted the Drew McIntyre and CM Punk, which is a match I didn't even know I needed. Like, did anybody know that we needed Drew McIntyre and CM Punk? I don't think we did.
So that was a really good match.
And yeah, it's crazy. Like, I don't even want to see Seth Rollins and CM Punk anymore. Give me Drew and CM Punk. Like, I'm down to have that. And I think the other match, obviously excited for Bayley, but a match that I felt was not good. Okay, talk about the good matches, but what match was not good that kind of left me wanting more, and I'm pretty sure the same for you, what had to be Jay versus Jimmy. Jay versus Jimmy, what the hell was that? I expected more, but that was my take on WrestleMania 40, man. It was a really good time. I enjoyed myself. A lot of wrestling content that we consumed in you know, those 4, 5, 6, 7 days, but I enjoyed every single moment of it.
I agree with you 1000%. I think they opened it up perfectly with Rollins and Drew, because just having Damian Priest cash in made the rest of the night just so much great. Even if the other matches in the middle weren't as like crazy as that one, but it started off perfect. And even night 1 too, Becky and Rhea was a great match. Like, I thought they started off perfect. So the way they like put the matches in order, I think was done perfectly. And again, yeah, Jimmy versus Jay, that could have been much better. Their spear through the table was much better than their match.
Absolutely.
Drew's title reign, it was so underwhelming. Well, it was 5 minutes, garbage. The reign was 5 minutes. Again, thank you so much for hopping on today. Chat, thank you for all of the questions. This will be on YouTube and Spotify in the next coming days. Probably by this weekend, I'll have it up. I'll have to like just run it through editing and all of that. But do you have any final questions for the chat, or for I mean, maybe not final questions, but like final thoughts or words for the chat or myself? As we conclude tonight's episode of the podcast.
I do not, man. Do you feel me though?
Do
you feel him, sir?
Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs?
No, man. It was the Cody and Jay Uso. Do you feel him?
Oh my God. Until we yeet again.
I know. Cody's so corny with his dad joke. No, man, I appreciate the opportunity to be here, man. I wish you nothing but much success on this journey of creating your podcast. I am planning to do my own podcast at some point, but I don't want to overwhelm myself with the different things that I got going on. But it was a cool time, man. Your community really shows up. Before I even got on live, just being in the chat was pretty cool. Time. So you guys keep up with what you guys got going on, man. You guys have the ability to compete against other communities. So show up for Just Laying Down. Appreciate all the love that you guys have also showed me. If you guys are followed, thank you ahead of time. If you guys went on any of my platforms and show some love, thank you ahead of time. And I hope to see you guys down the line somewhere. If you guys see me live, by the way, say what's up. Let me know you guys are coming from JLLD's channel. And listen, I talk to every single person, or I try to every little comment that comes through my TikTok or wherever I read it. So never feel that you can't come in and have a conversation or talk, or feel free to message me. I'm always willing to answer any questions as well. I know Just Laying Down is a big mental health advocate, and through my sexual abuse and adoption and feeling alone and all, not all these different things that happened in my life, I'm with you. I understand mental health is everything.
It
So
needs
if you
to be
guys ever have
talked
any
about.
questions on that, show love on that as well. So I'm always willing to answer anybody's questions.
Exclamation point guest in chat. Go follow him everywhere. I just put it right there. His Twitch, his YouTube, TikTok, IG, and Twitter. He's very active on TikTok. Definitely get to know him, and he does like what we do. Like he also does like the watches the stream, watches the shows that come on SmackDown, Raw. So go show him some love. He's been amazing on tonight's show. He's been amazing as a creator. So nothing but up from here. So that's how it's
And
supposed
I
to
do
be.
got two interviews. Sorry, before we go, I do got two interviews right now that I started. I started a series of interviewing WWE collectors. I didn't even know that was like there were so many of them until I went to TikTok. But I do have two interviews right now. If you guys want to go show love to that, it is Belts, Figures, and More on TikTok. I interviewed them. Dope belt collection over there. And then the other one was Yo JBC that has action figure collections as well as like every damn ring you could think about. It's a room
Wow.
in his house that is full of action figures. The dude has them organized. Pretty cool guy, man. So check out those two interviews. That's really why I started in the wrestling world, is interviewing collectors. One day to actually interview them in person, I think would be cool. But if you guys want to show some love to that as well, that has recently been launched in the last, I said, 2-3 weeks.
Excellent. And we can find this on YouTube probably, right? These interviews.
Yeah, these interviews are that's my strictly YouTube content. So you would have to go to my YouTube and see those interviews.
To Know Your Wrestling. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your night. Thank you so much for pulling up today. And for everybody in chat, if you could just stay real quick, we're going to be raiding out very shortly. We're going to try and show somebody some love on this amazing Wednesday night before we raid out and finish up for the night. But my guy, take care,
All right, brother.
man.
Appreciate you. You guys take care.
Take care. Have a good night.